Hello, readers. Welcome back to our channel. I am Kelly Lynn Colby, editorial director at Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing. And today I am doing my December TBR. Cue the music. First, let's see how I did in November. I had 10 books on my November list, and I had 2 that I had started reading in October, so I had to finish for November. So I finished those 2. That was Demon's Bluff and A Haunting on the Hill. So I got those 2 done at the very beginning of the month, and then I dived in to my 10, which I did with the Bucket Listathon. It was a really fun game, and I succeeded. Thank you very much. Woohoo! Yay! Bucket Listathon. Thank you, Danny Dabbles. You rock. I ended up putting 11, I think. Yes, 11 books on my list, and as soon as I finish this last one, I have completed it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I concentrated on my TBR. So that, upper left corner is the one that I concentrated on because I love buying these books, but I also want to read them. That's the point. So I get to check them off. I love checking things off. I don't know if anyone else is like that, but it's like my favorite thing, making lists and checking things off. I feel so accomplished. Such a stellar human being I am, when most of the time my lists never get completed. But this one is getting completed. So first I read... The 5-star prediction was House in the Cerulean Sea. That was for our Reality Bites book club. It's an in real life book club, and it's totally fun to hang out with people and talk about books. I have not done that in decades. So it's really cool. At least not in an organized way. We talk about books all the time. So that was really fun. I adored it. It was my first TJ Klune. Highly recommend. Very cozy. I'm understanding the cozy thing. I definitely needed cozy, and it hit the right spot. Loved it. So definitely 5-star prediction was correct. It was 5-star. Next, I read Delicious Monsters. And Delicious Monsters was a Goodreads nominee. I actually listened to an audio. Surprisingly quite good. I didn't know at the beginning if I was going to like it or not. It's 2 POVs. Horror's not my favorite, but I do like it. This one had the perfect mix of horror, as in just everyday life horror. That's part of horror. And the other part was the actual haunted house. And the lead in this could see dead people. So between all of the reason she could do it, relationship with her mom, and then you come into the future to another woman who is doing a reality podcast about a missing Black girl from this house in Canada. And so it was so cool. It was so cool. I loved it. So highly recommend. And LaSalle, anything else you got out there, I'm reading it. My third pick was Fiddlesticks for a physical TBR. I actually landed on the physical on the cloud. I've seen some people doing that. Some people aren't. So I'm sorry, Danny. I don't know which way was the proper way, but I landed on the cloud. So I picked one randomly, and it was Fiddlesticks by Ethan A. Cooper. Ethan is one of our authors at Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing. He writes kind of a horror bend in the Misplaced Adventures novels. I just got book 2 in that series too. I can't wait to read it. But he gave us this at the Dallas Fan Expo when we were all up there hawking books and introducing people to amazing universes. This was charming and kind of gross, so I guess that's good for horror. If you're afraid of clowns, don't read this. Or maybe read this and prove that you're right. I don't know, either way. But I love that one. 4 was a freebie. I landed on the freebie section, and I chose The Spanish Love Deception. I don't read enough romance. I've just started it, so I did this one. I actually listened to it on audio. At the beginning, I didn't like the protagonist. Maybe this is a thing for me in audio. It takes me a minute to get into it. But once I got into it, I was into it. Obviously, there's no huge surprises in this, right? It is a romance. You know what to expect. And it hit all the right beats at all the right times and gave me all the right feels. So highly recommend if romance is your thing. Discovery of Witches is a 5-star prediction. And yes, the beginning is slow. Okay, the whole thing is slow. It's very slow paced. But the world is so fascinating. The characters are so fascinating. I love the dark academia feel. The way the world is built with the vampires and witches and daemons, it's just it's fascinating. Fascinating is the right word. So I was so into it that even though it was slow, that was okay. That was okay for me. If you like something faster paced, though, maybe not for you, but I enjoyed it. The only part that really bothered me was the science part. Yeah, I mean, they're witches and vampires. You don't even need the science. Leave it out. But I look forward to reading the rest of this series. I'm excited. I must go find more. Next was the Tombs of Adawan for end of year goal. And that's because I am trying to finish the Earthsea cycle. I will not have it done by the end of the year, but I need to have it done by July. So because I didn't have really specific end of year goals for 2024, which I will for 2025, I just included the Here Kid stuff because that was really my big goals. So I read Tombs of Adawan. It was charming, not my favorite. Then I went ahead and for continue a favorite series, went right into The Farthest Shore and finished that one. Did not enjoy that one, but I'm finishing the series because I have to for Here Kid. And I want to say it's not like it's terrible. It's definitely a product of its time. And there are so many books to read. I'm not sure I need to be patient with books of their time because there are so many books written right now that are so good I want to read that cover the same themes, right? But that's okay. I'm going to read it and I'm going to say I read that classic series. So I'm just going to take that as a win and move on. Next, I read Baker Thief. That was for starting a series. This was a Spiffo nomination for Here Kid too, so I was able to use it for both things. This book was not for me. All the Truth I Can Stand was a freebie. Love this book. It was a really, really quick read. It's a one-sitting read. It was fascinating because it was based on a true story, and at the end, he says what part of it was true, really based on the Shepherd case in Wyoming. If you are a kid of the 90s, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you should pick up this book and read it. But loved it. And kind of sad we haven't really gotten that far. Last Chance, I put A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I counted this as Last Chance. I didn't have any that were actually Last Chance yet because I had put it on a previous TBR and hadn't read it for that one. So I have a thing, right? If I put it on 5 TBRs and don't read it, then it's got to go because obviously I don't want to. It had only been on one and I read it on the second one and I don't know why I didn't read it as soon as I picked it up. It was incredible. Worth all the hype. Highly recommend. I've read adult thrillers that were not nearly as thrilling as this one. And it's multimedia, so that was kind of cool too. Highly recommend. I would definitely be concluding that series or continuing that series. And finally, my 11th book was from my backlist. And I've had Side Jobs by Jim Butcher. It's a short story collection, all Dresden stories. He makes fun of the hat. It's hilarious. For those who know, you know. I am not done with it yet. Like I said, I'm about a third of the way done, but I'm definitely going to finish it. And this has been on my thing for years. Short story collections, anthologies aren't my favorite. I'm caught up on the Dresden Files, but I had not read this. But I was silly because these stories are delightful. I love me some Jim Butcher. So that's how I did last. What I'm reading right now, besides that's physical, and I finished all my ebooks and all my audiobooks, so I had to pick something up. So I still had to read 12 Nights at Rotterhouse for the Seasonal Spooky Challenge. It is the last one that I have for this one to complete it. So I have that one on audio. I only have like 2.5 hours left. I'll definitely finish that one as well. So that's what I'm listening to audio right now. And then ebook, I'm reading Looking for Mr. Goodbar by Judith Rosner. It was on the top 10 sellers in 1975, the year I was born. And again, that's for Here Kid. And this book is awful. But I have to finish Here Kid. So I'm going to finish it, cross it off, and just curse the whole time. I might be drinking. All right, so that is it for the roundup. I did amazing. That puts me at, 12 books. And if I read these last 3, that'll put me at 15. That's the most I've ever read. So, yay me. Pat on the back. Pat on the back. That's as close as I can get. My shoulders are very sore. Okay. So, we're going to go over the next one. And the next one, instead of just picking out of my TBR, like I played the Bucket Listathon last month, this month I am doing the Merry Bookmas. That is sponsored by Completely Melanie. And so thank you, Completely Melanie. I did Seasonathon with them earlier in the year, and that was totally fun. So I'm like, let's do this one too. So I'm excited about this. This is, as you can see by this graphic, it is different holiday movies and a prompt that goes with those holiday movies. And so to complete it, you have to do 10, you read 10, and there's 2 activities. And one of them is like, do a Christmas thing, like Christmas concert or go see lights or something like that. And I already did zoo lights, but I didn't do it in December. So I'm going to have to do that in something else like that in December. The other one was bake a favorite. I mean, I bake I've already baked cookies this year. I'm about to cook 2 pies today. I'm always baking, so that'll be easy to do in December. So I will bake some favorites. I will go see a cool thing and read these 10 books. Let me show you which ones. For the first movie, Santa Claus, it is read a book with a reluctant hero. For that one, I've chosen Malice. I don't know much about this, except it is epic fantasy by John Gwynne. Beck in the Books is doing a catch-up book club, and they are doing this one this year. So this entire thing, this whole series, and then the one that accompanies it. This is The Faithful and the Fallen, and I can't remember what the entire world is called, but this is the one we're doing, so I'm very excited. It's a chonker, but obviously I'm getting a little confident with my reading. We'll see. I don't have to have it done until like the second week in January, so this one might go over. We'll see, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try really hard. I might get this one done and one other, and that's it. I don't know. We'll see. It really depends on the pacing, and since I haven't read it, I have no idea. A lot of epic fantasy like this is slower paced, so we'll find out. The next one, Jingle All the Way, asks for a family dynamic in the book. For that, I'll be reading Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This is for our Reality Bites in Real Life book club. Very excited for this. I've not read anything by this author, and I've heard nothing but good things. Well, mostly good things. I'm excited, so we will read this one. Something a little dark and spooky at Christmas is fun too. I'll Be Home for Christmas is read a book with a quest. And remember, I'm trying to get through the Earth-Sea cycle. So I will read the 4th book in that one, Tihanu. That's by Ursula K. Le Guin. So I'm getting that from the library. It says I can get it in a couple weeks. We'll see. You can't always tell. I might have to get the ebook. We'll find out. Die Hard movie is a controversial choice. So for this, I'm choosing The Mist of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. The book itself is not very controversial. It is the author. So she kind of a scumbag, but she is not alive any longer, and I am not buying the book. So I'm not giving any money to her, even though, I mean, if anything, her children need it. If you want to see what the controversy is, you can just look it up. It's not pretty, but that is definitely controversial. The book itself, though, people before we knew about the author raved, and I have never read it. It is a classic, so I'm going to give it a try. But it's also 1,000 pages long, so I don't know. We'll see. Between Malice and that one, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I definitely choose these books with my heart, not my brain. So in this one, my heart is torn. It's definitely a controversial pick. It's a Wonderful Life is read a book with an alternate timeline. And she suggested The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I have been dying to read The Midnight Library. I'm like, I will take your suggestion. So Midnight Library it is. Nightmare Before Christmas is read a spooky book. So I am reading We Are the Beasts by Gigi Griffiths. This comes out December 10th. Yes, December 10th. It releases December 10th, and I have a copy on pre-order. And it's a beast comes to this small French town and starts killing people, and and then there are these 2 girls like, oh, well, cool. I guess I could, kill these people that I've been wanting to kill and blame it on the beast. I'm sure nothing will go wrong. I'm very excited. Obviously, I'm reading a lot of spooky books this Christmas, huh? I need some Christmas cheer in here or something. We'll get there. Next is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And that is a grumpy character who finds love. And I'm sure a lot of people are doing a romance for this one. I am doing more like The Grinch and doing The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin. This is a story about a shopkeeper who's very grumpy and set in his ways. And somehow or another, a child ends up on his doorstep. So that sounds so lovely, and I'm very excited about this one. I've been wanting to read this one for a while too. I thrifted it, and I was so excited to find it. And now I get to read it. So this is more The Grinch, right? So it's not romantic love, it's family love. Now for the more wintry ones. For Polar Express, it is a polar fantasy is the prompt. I will be reading Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. Anyone who watches this channel will hopefully remember how much I loved Uprooted. So much so I'm keeping it because I think I want to read it again, like soon. So good. It's everything I want in a story. It has just the right amount of stakes, not too painful. You're pretty sure it's going to be a happy ending, but a strong character that isn't simple to interpret what they're going to do next. Mentors. I loved that story. And there was a romance subplot. I prefer my romances to be subplots. It was lovely and in an area I hadn't seen before, and it was a retelling of a fairy tale I hadn't heard before. It made it even better. This one is a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin, so I have no idea where they're going with this, but I don't care. After Uprooted, Naomi Novik, she writes it. I'm gonna read it. Next, we have A Christmas Carol, and that is a book with second chances. I chose The Plight Before Christmas by Kate Stewart. So there we go. We got some Christmas stuff in there. Considering I completely decked out my house, I definitely need some Christmas stuff. Okay, I didn't deck out my background, but my house is so Christmas. So I will be reading this one. I don't remember what it's about, and I don't care. Look at that cover. So I'm into it. Finally, I'll be reading The Dog Days of Christmas. For that, it is the group book, and that is Pupcakes by Annie England Noblin. That one I will be getting from the library, and I'm very excited to read that. It's charming, and I might be able to use it for Here Kid because she's a baker. The main character in this is a baker, recently going through a divorce and has to go take care of this puck. So because she's a baker, but this isn't a cookbook, there should be some recipes in there that I can cook, and that will work for the Here Kid. So anywhere I can double up will be amazing. But that's it. So that is my total list of books that I am reading for this month. It is 10 books compared to last month when I did 13. I should be pretty good. I kind of want to play a video game. I like to do that around Christmas. It's the only time I have, because when I play a video game, I do nothing else. But I don't know. I'm enjoying reading so much more, and my blood pressure's down. My stress level is down. I just feel better in general. So I might just stick with reading. So what are you reading this Christmas? Are you doing any Christmas readathons? Anything fun? Hey, for those of you who stuck around to the very ending, I dropped books. For those of you who stuck around to the very ending, I am debuting my own repurposed board game that I found at Goodwill, because I'm going on a book buying ban. You are going to be seeing a bunch of book hauls coming up, and I've been a little crazy since I started doing this late August. I bought a lot of books, and I don't feel bad about it. I mean, maybe I should, but I don't. So there's going to be some book hauls coming, but because of that, I am going to go on a book buying ban in January, and I will only be permitted to go buy books until I reach certain goals on my game. So stay tuned for those book hauls. They'll be up in the next few weeks, probably beginning of January too, because I don't want to kill myself or you, so I can spread them out and not dump them all at once. Write down your calendars, end of December. That's as specific as I can get. And you will be able to see my new game. I'm so excited. All right. I'll see you next time. Bye. I mean, it doesn't look so scary when you're just holding it up.